By now, you've probably seen a million college advice videos telling you to get more sleep, don't skip class, things your mom probably could have told you. This is not going to be another one of those videos. I'm going to teach you all the real things I learned the hard way over my past 2 years in college that have absolutely saved my butt. For me, these changes meant I had less stress, more mental space, more money, more time. I felt way more confident about what I was doing with my career, and looking back, I wish I had known some of these things sooner, which is why today I'm going to share my best college advice with you. So without further ado, my number one tip is to get to know and try to befriend your professors, especially if you go to a small school. I personally have always been very independent. I like figuring things out on my own, so I very rarely ask for help with any of my classes, but this goes way beyond just passing your class. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, just one thing, college is not about classes. Your biggest resource in college is people. And this is not just professors. This is also your classmates, TAs, students in other years, especially above you. If you want to get the most out of college, you really got to think about building your network. Now, networking may sound like a scary word, especially for someone like me who's an introvert, but don't overcomplicate it. It's literally just about making friends and building relationships. That's the number one mistake I see most people make with networking. Don't immediately make it about what you want or what that person can do for you. You need to establish a mutually beneficial relationship. Sometimes that'll mean that that person just wants to help you and wants to mentor you because someone else did that for them and they want to pass that on. But most of the time, you need to be providing some sort of value to that person, just like they're providing value to you. At least make it worth their while. So as an example, I'll admit this probably won't happen as much in a bigger school, but I'll be, studying in the building and a professor might walk by, and if they're particularly sociable, they might stop by and say hi, and we might strike up a conversation. And this is actually how I learned about a lot of my professors' projects that they were working on and that they wanted students help on. And I went and I joined some of those projects, and I've learned so much more from working on projects one-on-one with professors than all of my classes combined. And remember, once you start trying to get a job, these are the people who are going to be giving you references. Your classmates and other students, those are the people who are going to be giving you referrals. So you are not an island, not just from a social, but from a career perspective. So take advantage of it while you can. And now, as for my second point, you should rarely, if ever, be studying or doing homework in your dorm room. There are several different reasons behind this. First of all, it ties back to my first point. If all you ever do is go to class and be cooped up in your room doing homework, you are never going to meet people. But homework does take up a lot of time, especially if you're in STEM or another major that has a lot of homework. So this is where dual purposing your time comes in. You can do something like forming a study group so you can get that support, as well as forming connections and friendships, all while getting your classwork done. And sure, it may take a little bit longer, you may get a little more distracted, but trust me, it is worth it. Again, college is not just about classes, and even if classes are really important to you, I have literally had an engineering professor say during my freshman year, I have seen so many students that would have done so well if they had just stopped studying in their dorm room. It is not only going to improve your social connections, it is also going to improve your studying. And that brings me to my second reason for why I think this is important. Your brain is very, very influenced by your environment. But this influence is not just inherent to the environment. By doing certain things in certain places, you are literally training a certain Pavlovian response into your brain. If you've ever heard the advice of don't do anything in your bed other than sleeping, and that'll cause you to fall asleep much faster, this is the exact same principle, and it applies to everything. Your brain learns to associate certain actions with certain spaces. So that's why multi-purpose environments like your dorm room are very counterproductive to your brain. because it can't tell if you're supposed to be studying or sleeping or chillaxing or what are you supposed to be doing. But if there's a certain coffee shop or a certain corner of the library or a certain study room that you only ever use for studying, you will soon notice something very uncanny happening. As soon as you enter that space, your brain locks in. You are focused. You are ready. Your brain knows exactly what to do. Or even if it's a fresh space with no particular habits attached to it, you will notice a huge difference in focus and motivation as opposed to a space where you're also used to sleeping or just chilling. And people are going to think you are so disciplined, when in reality, this has nothing to do with willpower at all. It's literally just making it easy for your brain. So if you have some big paper to write where you really need to focus and you can't get distracted by socializing, maybe go to some sort of coffee shop or somewhere else where you're not going to run into people, but get out of your dorm room. Seriously, you will thank me. Now, thirdly, food is your fuel. If you eat like crap, you're going to feel like crap, and you will output crap. I know most of us as college students are broke and cannot afford to splurge on things and are known for eating ramen for a reason, but for me, keeping myself fed with real good food made a world of a difference and is definitely worth all my money. I found that getting better at life does not start with motivation or discipline, but with just making it easier for your body and your brain to do what you want it to do. This goes hand in hand with getting enough sleep, but you already knew that, so. Okay, so now we're gonna get into more of the academic stuff. So first of all, keep track of all your assignments in one place. In high school, I got very behind with assignments because of two reasons. First of all, I did not have any sort of system to help me keep track of them. I just relied on teachers reminding us, hey, you have this essay due today. And also, I allowed myself to think, what if I just don't do it right now? Like, is the world really gonna end? I mean, the world didn't end, but I got very behind and very stressed, and I just did not have a great academic experience in high school. So I knew this was not going to fly in college, and I did not want to live like that in college, so I had to find a different solution. And right before I started my freshman year, I saw someone online having a Google Doc where they put all their assignments. And the great thing about college is you get syllabi for each of your classes that normally have all of the assignments for the entire term already laid out on the syllabus. I still see a lot of my classmates cycling through 5 different places every night, stressing out whether they forgot an assignment and what they need to do today. But ever since the beginning of freshman year, I've used this Google Sheet to keep track of the class, the assignment, and when it's due. And I group them by week. And that way I'm able to stay ahead and I'm able to have the peace of mind that I have everything I need done for the day or even for the week, and I don't have to worry about it. And that's where the freeing up mental space really comes in. And this template that I made available for other people to use, so I'll have that linked in the description. In addition to that, I also like to keep track of how long it takes me to do assignments. For that, I use Clockify. I think it's meant for like payroll and like freelancing, but I just use it to keep track of how long it takes me to do each individual assignment. There's multiple reasons why this has helped me. First of all, I love data. I'm a computer science student and I love working with data, and I was just really curious to know how long certain things take me. It's actually really good to have some sort of basis of understanding for how long something's going to take you. For example, like if you have a lab report that's due every week and you see in your history that it took you about 2 hours every time, you're going to know exactly how much time you need to allocate to that. And you can plan your day accordingly. And the other less obvious advantage of keeping track of your time is it really helps me focus on the task at hand, because as soon as I start that timer, it's like, okay, I gotta actually do this assignment or else I'm gonna mess up my time and it's gonna be wrong. So let me just finish this assignment, just get it done with so I don't mess up my time. I don't have to like worry about it. And it's really, really helped me like stay on focus and stay on task, which is something I used to really struggle with. All right, so now iPad for notes and homework might actually be worth it. I personally don't really like to buy into hype, especially with my money. So I started out freshman year with just paper and pencil, but after 2 months I caved and I bought iPad and an Apple Pencil refurbished off of eBay. So the reason why I like this as opposed to paper is that, first of all, you're never going to lose your notes. They're all in one place. You never have to organize them or worry about all the paper you're using. And actually, the main reason why I like it is when you are doing homework and notes or whatever, you have the freedom to move things around on the page. When you write it down, it's never stuck there. It's really easy to undo, erase, and especially move around. So you can just jot things down without too much commitment and then rearrange them to make them look nice and organized later. Saves me a lot of time, stress, it's been really worth it for me personally. So now, you've probably heard this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Do not go to the campus bookstore unless you have no other choice. What are some better options? First of all, see if your professor provides a free online option. I know a lot of my professors will write the link for a free PDF in their syllabi. If not, you can try emailing them, try Googling the textbook with PDF or file type PDF. Just be careful with which links you click on Google because some PDFs can contain malware. But Anna's Archive, I've heard good things about, and Internet Archive, I think. Now, the reason why you might want a PDF online version, besides it being free, is that you could plug it into AI to help you, summarize or make flashcards or something like that, or plug it into a screen reader and listen to it. But if you can't find any online versions or you just prefer to have a print version, bookscouter.com. My number one go-to for books because it will scour multiple websites and show you where the cheapest website is to buy it. Now, the one thing to note is be very careful with books that require some sort of access code for homework. So, story time. Freshman year, I wasted my money on this little piece of cardboard, like $100, because an access code for a chemistry book, and it was the wrong one. It was a very, very similar sounding name, but it was not the right one. And it didn't accept returns, and now I can't sell it either because it's the wrong one and nobody uses it. So if your textbook comes with an access code, you might have no other choice other than to get it from the bookstore. Or if you are going to try to get an access code elsewhere, just be really, really careful and double check. So now let's talk about my number one biggest life hack for college that will literally give you hours of your day back. So if you need to have a job, get a job on campus that is some sort of front desk type job where they basically pay you to be there and be available and has a lot of downtime, like, a gym front desk or dorm front desk. That way you can do homework while on the job. And I especially say on campus because a lot of on-campus jobs like this basically expect students to be doing homework. So it's not like you're shirking off your responsibilities or something like that. I do this with the IT help desk. And last of all, but certainly not least, in fact, perhaps most importantly of all, college is not all about the grades. Do your research and be very intentional with what you want and how you're going to get there, and that will dictate what you spend your time on. Especially for computer science, classes and grades are not going to get you very far. Aim for getting real-world experience, and there are a few different tiers to this. At the bottom, we have personal projects. So these are projects you work on your own, just things you want to do, things you're interested in. These are great for a start, but one step ahead of that, we have collaborative projects where you work with other people and you get that collaboration experience. Bonus points if you have mentors, like I mentioned at the beginning. This will also really, really propel your project and your whole education forward. A step ahead of that, or maybe on the same level if you have mentors, is extracurriculars and clubs where you have some sort of real impact. And for me, I joined the entrepreneurship club, and now I'm the VP of technology there. And so I basically serve as a technical advisor for business students who may have business ideas but don't have any technical skills or experience to know where to start. And then, of course, we have internships. Especially in tech, these can be a lot more difficult to get, but they are as close as you can get to having real job experience before having even graduated college. If you want to hear more about how I'm getting that real world experience as a computer science student without an internship, check out my previous video. But overall, what I'm trying to say is think about your goals beyond just the 4 years of college. When you're first starting out, you may not know, and it's totally okay to explore and try things out for the first bit, but make sure you're regularly checking in with yourself and setting goals for yourself that propel you in the direction you want to go, and that will look different for everyone. So, if you found any of this advice helpful, let me know down in the comments. And if you're a computer science student like me, feel free to stick around as I share my journey to becoming a software engineer.